At the BAFTAs, John Davidson shouted the N-word at me and Delroy Lindo while we were on stage presenting an award.
Art of movie making.
That word wasn't whispered. It wasn't edited out. It was loud. It was clear. And it was directed at two black men standing under a spotlight.
Michael B. Jordan is breaking his silence after a shocking moment at the BAFTAs. He and Delroy Lindo were hit with the N-word shouted at them by actor John Davidson during the ceremony. Davidson, the guy behind the BAFTA-nominated film I Swear, reportedly has Tourette syndrome, which can cause verbal outbursts. But still, people can't believe what went down. Now here's where things got really heated. The BBC pre-recorded the entire event, meaning they knew that ugly moment happened.
Now here's what happened after. John Davidson released a statement saying he has Tourette's syndrome. He said his outburst was involuntary. He said he was mortified. He explained that people with Tourette's can have verbal tics they cannot control.
But they still aired it anyway. Fans are calling it a setup, saying it looked like they wanted to humiliate Michael and Delroy on national TV. And to make things worse, they actually cut out a whole part of filmmaker Akinola Davies Jr.'s speech, the part where he was talking about freeing oppressed people. So just to be clear, the BBC edited out a powerful message about liberation but kept in a scene where two black actors were called a racial slur. Unbelievable. Delroy later told Vanity Fair that after the word was shouted while they were presenting the award for Best Visual Effects, no one from BAFTA even approached them. Not a single person came up to explain or apologize. He said, "We did what we had to do," but admitted he wished someone from BAFTA had the decency to speak to them afterward. Michael B. Jordan also opened up, saying he and Delroy were literally at work when the slur was hurled at them. And that's what hurt the most. And the fact that no one from the BAFTAs even checked in afterward is just straight up unbelievable. People online are losing it, and honestly, they have every right to.
What he did not do was apologize to me. What he did not do was apologize to Delroy Lindo. And that matters. I'm not attacking people with Tourette's. I understand the condition is real.
Many pointed out that this isn't even the first time actor John Davidson, who has Tourette's, has had a run-in like this with a black person. That's why the outrage is hitting hard. One person on X said it best. What Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo went through was mistreatment in the workplace. Period. Others agreed, adding that several black women have also had uncomfortable encounters with Davidson, including production designer Hannah Beckler. People are calling it exactly what it is: anti-black racism, plain and simple. And here's what's really sparking more anger. Folks are pointing out that Tourette's doesn't make someone racist, and racism doesn't need intent to be racist. You can't just hide behind a medical condition when harm's being done. Even worse, people say the BBC made it 10 times worse by choosing to air that clip, knowing full well what it showed. One user summed it up perfectly, saying, "Shouting that word isn't something Tourette's just randomly causes unless there's some level of awareness or intent behind it." Tourette's outbursts usually come out as random sounds, curses, or phrases, not words aimed at a specific person.
I understand some things are not intentional, but if your condition causes harm, you still address the people who were harmed directly, by name.
So when John Davidson shouted the N-word right at two black actors, it didn't seem like some uncontrollable tic. It looked intentional. That's exactly why people are furious and why the BAFTA broadcast and Davidson himself are both under serious fire right now. But it's not just fans sounding off online. Actors within the industry are stepping up too. Scottish actor Thierry Mbanga, who was born in the Democratic Republic of Congo, didn't hold back. He said BAFTA had a duty to warn Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo ahead of time about Davidson's condition, so they wouldn't be blindsided like that on live television. That silence from BAFTA? Totally unacceptable. Then Jamie Foxx jumped in, and he didn't sugarcoat a thing. He straight up called out Davidson, saying he clearly meant what he said. Jamie even left comments under the viral video writing, "Out of all the words you could have said, Tourette's makes you say that? Nah, he meant that ish. Unacceptable." His reaction only fueled the outrage even more. And fans aren't letting the double standard slide either. People are saying that if Davidson had shouted a slur aimed at another group, BAFTA would have pulled the entire segment and issued a full-blown apology on air. One post on X hit hard, saying, "If your condition made you blurt out anti-Semitic slurs on national TV, Keir Starmer would be outside Downing Street giving a public apology by morning." The internet isn't holding back. And now, everyone's waiting to see how BAFTA and the BBC respond to the backlash. But the second it's against black people, suddenly everyone's talking about nuance and context. Now it's all about pity and understanding. Really? One fan online said it perfectly.
Don't give the public a general explanation. Say, Michael, Delroy, I'm sorry. Some of you think I should just accept the medical explanation and move on. I don't agree.
Kanye West never got this kind of pass when he acted out. Nobody gave him grace or hid behind mental health explanations. He was instantly deplatformed, blacklisted, and watched half his money and most of his brand deals vanish overnight. The Kanye comparison keeps popping up because it exposes the double standard so clearly. Kanye, a black man with a documented mental health condition, said controversial things, and the whole world turned on him in a heartbeat. World leaders issued statements. His business partners dropped him instantly, and he lost millions. But when the situation flips, when it's a white man with a neurological condition, suddenly, we need to be understanding. The same people who showed zero mercy for Kanye are now writing long think pieces defending John Davidson. Let's be real. No one's denying that Tourette's is real or that it can cause uncontrollable tics. But the pain from hearing that slur shouted so publicly doesn't disappear just because there might not have been intent. Both things can be true. Davidson may not have meant it maliciously, but it still hurt deeply and deserves acknowledgement. A fair move from BAFTA would have been to recognize the harm instead of hiding behind medical explanations. Because let's face it, writing a 10-page lecture on how Tourette's works just to silence the outrage doesn't help anyone. The issue isn't whether the condition exists, it's that two respected black actors were humiliated on stage and no one showed accountability. Now, to be fair, not everyone's on the same side in this mess. Some people actually said they feel bad for John Davidson. And here's why. His movie, I swear, was literally about how people misunderstand Tourette's and overreact to his outbursts. One person on X even wrote, "The wildest thing about this BAFTA situation is that the man was there because they were honoring a film about him. A film showing how Tourette's is misread and vilified. And then this exact thing happens in real life. The irony hit hard. Even more surprising, a young black woman who actually has Tourette's spoke out in defense of Davidson."
Intent is one thing, impact is another. So let me ask you, if it was truly not voluntary, does that mean no apology is needed? Or do you believe we deserved one?
She explained that it's absolutely possible for someone to have slurs as tics without it meaning they're racist, that sometimes it's just the way the condition manifests. Her take added a powerful layer to the discussion. But here's the real kicker. Most people who are upset aren't even blaming John Davidson himself. Honestly, most agree he probably isn't racist. The real outrage is aimed squarely at the BAFTAs and the BBC for how they handled the entire thing. The ceremony was pre-recorded, meaning they had time to review everything, and they still chose to air the clip where two black men were publicly humiliated. Then they didn't even check in with Michael B. Jordan or Delroy Lindo afterward. That silence says everything. And what's even worse, the same network that aired that slur-filled moment decided to cut out something far more meaningful. Filmmaker Akinola Davies Jr. gave a heartfelt speech about freedom, liberation, and speaking up for oppressed people, and the BBC chopped it right out of the broadcast. So they censored a message about empowerment, but left in a racial slur. That decision alone shows exactly where their priorities are. And it's not a good look. After everything that went down, people are now demanding accountability. And not just some PR statement with fancy words. Viewers, actors, and activists are calling for the BAFTAs and BBC to take real responsibility for how they handled the entire situation.
African-American rappers saying N-word this and N-word that, but a Caucasian can't.
So say it.
Say what?
Say the word you want to say.
I'm not saying that I want to say it, I'm just saying that I can't.
So you can.
Many are saying an apology isn't enough when it's clear that decisions were made behind closed doors that showed a complete lack of respect for black artists. Some are even asking whether this was about negligence or something deeper. How does a whole team of producers, editors, and executives sit through a pre-recorded ceremony and still decide, yeah, let's air the part where two black actors get called a slur? That's not a simple oversight. That's a choice. People are also calling out the hypocrisy. The BAFTAs love to preach about diversity and inclusion. But when it came time to actually stand by two respected black actors in the moment, they went quiet. Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo deserved at least a private conversation, an apology, or even just acknowledgement of what happened. Instead, there was silence. And that silence speaks louder than any award speech. And here's where it gets even more uncomfortable. The BBC's decision to cut Akinola Davies Jr.'s freedom speech now feels even more calculated. Fans online are asking, Why censor a message about liberation but leave in racial humiliation? That's the part that's got people feeling like this isn't just carelessness, it's selective editing with an ugly undertone. Social media is buzzing with hashtags like hashtag boycott BAFTA and hashtag BBC accountability, and celebrities are starting to join the conversation too. Many are saying if this is how award shows treat their black talent, then the industry clearly still has a long way to go. The public isn't asking for perfection. They're asking for decency, fairness, and real change. Because at this point, everyone can agree on one thing. What happened on that BAFTA stage wasn't just an awkward moment, it was a wake-up call for the entire industry. As the backlash keeps growing, both BAFTA and the BBC are now feeling the pressure like never before. Insiders say meetings are happening behind the scenes to manage the situation, but fans aren't buying the damage control anymore. People want action, not empty statements. They want to see accountability that actually means something. Rumors have even started swirling that some major sponsors are rethinking their partnerships with BAFTA over this controversy. Brands don't want to be connected to an organization accused of racial insensitivity, especially when social media is blasting their name across every timeline. If companies start pulling out, that could mean millions lost, and that's when things get real. Meanwhile, word is that Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo are both taking time away from public appearances while they decide what their next move should be. Sources close to them say they're deeply disappointed, but also proud of how they handled themselves during the chaos. Fans are standing with them stronger than ever, saying they showed grace under pressure while BAFTA showed none. And here's the part everyone's talking about. John Davidson's camp finally released a short statement saying he's heartbroken over the situation and that the outburst wasn't intentional. But that didn't calm things down at all. In fact, it made people even angrier because they feel like BAFTA's silence is letting him take all the heat while the organization escapes scrutiny.
Delroy and I are delighted to be presenting the first BAFTA of the night for a vital part of movie making.
We're here to celebrate.
Some of you are getting on my last God-given nerves. The fact that I have to come up here to break down for you the ABC's 1, 2, 3 do-re-mis of racism, because some of you have the bombastic audacity to want to litigate the racial intent of a white man and absolve him of racism because of his disability. Now, I'm going to make time for you today.
Online discussions have gotten fiery, with people saying this moment could mark a turning point in how award shows handle incidents of racism, intentional or not. There's growing demand for stricter editing policies, better sensitivity training, and real diversity in the production rooms where these decisions are made. The message is loud and clear. If the entertainment industry keeps brushing incidents like this under the rug, audiences will start walking away for good. This isn't just about one slur or one ceremony anymore. It's about a system that keeps protecting comfort over accountability. And people have had enough. They knew exactly what they were doing, keeping in a clip that would spark outrage while pretending it was all harmless. They knew a certain group would end up offended, even though John Davidson didn't intend to say anything offensive. But the fact that this outburst made the final cut without hesitation, that's what makes it so clear there's a serious double standard at play. The choices they made send a loud message about whose voices matter and whose pain can be dismissed or muted when it's inconvenient. This whole situation isn't just about one slip-up or a nuanced misunderstanding. It's about power and who gets to use it. It's about organizations like BAFTA deciding what's safe to show and what's too risky to air, about who's allowed to feel offended and who's expected to just take it quietly. And sadly, it's painfully obvious whose discomfort they're most afraid of upsetting. Meanwhile, black artists get left on screen taking the hits while everyone else hides behind excuses. Let's be real. Both things can be true at once. John Davidson does have Tourette's, and that can absolutely explain certain behaviors. But at the same time, the pain Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo experienced is real, valid, and undeniable. The issue isn't about attacking someone's medical condition. It's about the editorial choices made by powerful institutions. BAFTA and the BBC had full control over what the world saw, and they still chose to air the most painful moment while silencing a message about freedom and liberation. That's not coincidence. That's systemic bias, plain and simple. At the end of the day, this whole controversy exposed exactly how selective inclusion can really be when the cameras are rolling. The people in charge had a chance to do the right thing, and they blew it. But now I want to hear from you. Do you agree with those calling out the double standard, saying BAFTA was wrong to air that racist outburst while cutting Akinola Davies Jr.'s powerful speech? Or do you think John Davidson truly had no control over it and this was just a tragic misunderstanding? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know where you stand. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment to keep this conversation alive. Let's make sure voices that deserve to be heard actually get heard.